Hello students, here's the video guide for your discussion board. The first discussion, we will be practicing the mode of definition. And so both of those readings you'll find in the definition folder. You need to read Company Man by Ellen Goodman. It's a short, one-page essay. And so this is just background information about Goodman. This tells you to think about what you know on working, and the essay actually starts right here where it says he worked himself to death finally and precisely at 3 a.m. Sunday morning. Okay, and so you'll read this, and the reason I have you read these pieces is because it's really good writing. And rather than teach you how to define something by using a textbook, I would rather you read beautiful definition essays by professional writers and learn from them. And so Goodman has defined a company man or a workaholic. And basically Phil worked himself to death and missed out on life with a family. And so this is her defining a workaholic. It's beautiful. She has background information. She talks about his family. As you read it, pay attention to some of the strategies she uses and how she organizes her essay. So for example, she says she worked himself to death at 3 a.m. and then she repeats that over here. Worked himself to death at 3 a.m. And she just describes his days, and then she talks about how his behavior affected his family. Okay, it's a short piece, and you can use it as a guide when you write your first definition essay. Okay, the other piece that's in here in the definition folder is called What is Happiness by Eduardo Porter. And he is defining happiness. Okay, and so he, again, this is all background information about Porter. This is some questions to get you thinking, and the essay starts right here. So pay attention. He opens his essay with some philosophical thoughts of famous people. He gives a definition by Gandhi, by Abraham Lincoln, by Snoopy. And so these are their definitions of happiness. And then he just goes on to explain or define happiness. So this is a good way to define an abstract concept. Okay, and just model some of his ideas when you write your response. Another document that you'll need is Ways to Define. And it offers you several different solutions on how to create a definition. What we'll be working on the first few assignments is taking abstract concepts like happiness or love or respect and trying to make sense out of it, trying to define it in a concrete way. And so this Ways to Define will help you do that. It tells you can define by providing examples, and both Goodman and Porter do that in their essays. You can add description, which these writers use. You can compare and contrast to show a process about how you get to happiness, or how does Phil become a workaholic? What is the process he must go through? Okay, and then there's other ways to define where you have you use synonyms, or I like negation. Sometimes it's handy to use that as a way to define. You tell what it is not. Like happiness is not living an empty life. Something, whatever. Okay, so that's another document that will come in quite handy, and everything's here. So once you've read Company Man and Happiness, then you will go and complete the first assignment, which is a discussion. Right here it says Company Man and Happiness. It tells you to first introduce yourself, let me know a little bit about you, what you hope to get from the course, your goals, and then you respond to the prompts. There's 3 options. You just have to pick one. Okay, the first one is using Porter's essay as a model. He defines happiness. You pick another abstract term to define. And there's some options: friendship, commitment, peace, success, freedom. Okay, pick an abstract term and define it, and use Porter's essay as a model. Okay, the second option is talking about how some words have both a positive and negative connotation. For example, a workaholic, the people as a job probably like workaholics. Those are the people who come in 6 days a week and get their job done. Nobody has to tell them what to do. They're very dedicated. Okay, so at work, workaholic might be a positive. At home, if you're a workaholic, it probably has a negative connotation, like it did in Company Man. This option is a little tough, but I would give it a try if you're up to it. You're going to pick some other concept or topic that has both positive and negative connotations. Okay, and write about that. And the third option is talking about a procrastinator, which is pretty much the opposite of Phil. Procrastinators kind of put off responsibility, while Phil embraced responsibility and overdid it with responsibility. So you can use Goodman's essay as an example, but you're describing the opposite of Phil. You're describing someone who puts things off and doesn't really waits till the last minute to take care of his obligations. Okay, now those are your options. This does say that you need, it's like a baby essay, so I can see how you write and what you need to work on. So the first thing you will need is an introduction, and it said it includes a hook, and here's some suggestions. You can define your topic, you can tell a little story that defines the topic, create a simile and metaphor. Then you will provide background information, and you would have your claim or thesis. You'll write one body paragraph that has a beautiful example. Okay, and an example that has who, what, where, when, why. It's a detailed story that supports your argument, and then you wrap up in your concluding paragraph. Okay, your responses should be 500 words or more. You need to use formal language and elevated diction. Okay, try not to use you. You is not really strong writing. You is informal, and it weakens your argument. And so avoid using it, please. And then you will respond to your peers. And it tells you right here, make sure your peer responses are thoughtful, well-developed, and refer specifically to what the writer has said. It needs to be very clear that you read his or her post, and so you would refer to something he's written and talk about it. Okay, this is not necessarily where you correct grammar. This is more where you correct or offer content suggestions, help them improve their content. Okay, so the way you do the post, you click right here, and then you create a thread and give it a good title, because you want people to read what you've said. So try to come up with a unique title, and then in the body you just start typing. Now what's handy, you can open this up right here, if you go here, and you'll give you a full page to write. And then you just make it small again, write your 500 words or more, and then submit the assignment, and you're done. I hope you enjoy.